Good day, folks. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers. Today we're going to take a look at the visible satellite imagery and talk about how this week we are going to see a whole lot of this, the sun. And we're going to take a look at the temperatures throughout the area and also talk about some fire activity that's been happening east of the Cascades. So let's hop into it. Right now, looking at the visible satellite imagery, we can see a few things. We can see quite a bit of wildfire smoke over there on the Labor Mountain fire, which kind of exploded yesterday. So the mountain air quality around there is pretty bad. There's also some low-level fog in some of the river valleys, but not a whole lot, and this should burn off pretty quick for most of the area today. And also east of the Cascades, we got some low-lying fog. And as I mentioned, we're going to see a whole lot of the sun right now. Looking out the window, I can see the sun. And looking at the European model, this is looking at cloud cover by levels. So looking at the chart here on the bottom, low-level clouds is white, mid is purple, and high-level clouds is blue. So if we scroll through each day, we can see that today it correctly indicated that there's going to be some areas of low-level clouds. And then going through the day, those low-level clouds are going to burn off. And some high-level clouds are going to move over the area, but it'll still be mostly sunny for most of the state. And then going into tomorrow morning, again, we'll have some areas of low-level fog on the coast and along the Puget Sound corridor and some of the river valleys. And then those low-level clouds will burn off, and we'll have more high-level clouds tomorrow. And then by Wednesday morning, again, we'll have some areas of low-level fog, and that'll burn off. And then it's looking like Wednesday is going to be a completely sunny day across the state, not even mid-level or high-level clouds around. And then by Thursday, we'll get a bit of an onshore push and some high-level clouds, even some mid-level clouds that day. And then a system comes close to the region by the weekend. Looking at temperatures for the next couple days, this is looking at the National Weather Service blend of models. We can see that by 4 p.m. today, much of the area up and down the I-5 corridor is going to be close to 70 degrees, maybe a little bit cooler near the water. Up there in Whatcom County, maybe the upper 60s. And it's indicating up there by Port Angeles and stuff in the low 60s, perhaps warmer as you go up into the foothills. And the low 60s on the coast, a little bit warmer as you make it inland by Aberdeen. And down there by Longview, Kelso, low 70s, and maybe up to the mid 70s down there by Vancouver. And east of the Cascades, we're looking like it's going to be in the low 70s today. Skip forward to morning lows tomorrow. Most of the area is going to make it into the low 50s. Some areas will make it into the low 40s like this morning. And then shooting off to tomorrow afternoon, it's looking like similar, maybe just a little bit warmer, with many areas getting to the low to mid 70s tomorrow west of the Cascades. Hotter down south by Vancouver, Washington, could get up to about 85 degrees. And east of the Cascades, it's going to be a little warmer tomorrow as well, getting up to the low 80s. Is looking pretty likely. And by the way, if you want to know the temperature for your area, I prefer to use this over weather apps. This is just on weather.gov. You type in your location right here. I typed in Seattle, and you can see what the temperature is generally going to be for your region. I recommend this during fair weather times, during times like the winter and whatnot. It can be a little bit less useful, but sometimes it can still be spot on. And the way you access this is just go to weather.gov, and then this area right here, local forecast by city, you just type in your area. So I'm typing in Lake Stevens. Boom. And so this is for my area here. And today, high of 71, low 47, high of 75 tomorrow, low 50. And that's pretty close to what we also just looked at on the National Weather Service blended models for your area. So pretty cool. Now, watchduty.org. This is where we can keep an eye on some of our area fires. The Labor Mountain fire went through a lot of growth yesterday. It grew by about 4,000 acres. And we can see the update right here. The fire is now 11,679 acres. And that is up from yesterday's update, where it was at 7,618. So a lot of growth on that fire. And this is largely due to the fact that there was steady winds yesterday, which pushed the fire east-northeast. And that was the cold frontal passage. Because it was drier on the east side of the Cascades, there was a lot of wind. And when that wind went down the eastern slopes of the Cascades, it dried out the air as well and just pushed that fire. And so they ended up closing down Highway 97, and the fire now appears to be approaching closer to the highway. So it's going to be a dry week over there too, so we could expect more growth, but hopefully the winds are dying down, so they'll be able to get a bit more of a containment line on that thing. Still some fire activity on the lower Sugarloaf, but it sounds like they still have that one mostly contained. Over there in the Bear Gulch fire, the rain did heavily subdue it, but it did not completely put it out. And unfortunately, we're coming into a drier week here again, so there could be some renewed activity on the Bear Gulch fire. Looking at smoke activity, I want to check out Purple Air here. We can see that the air quality over there in Wenatchee is pretty bad, but look at over there by Kashmir and whatnot. It's pretty bad because of the lower Sugarloaf and because of the Labor Mountain fire. And up there in Plain, pretty bad air quality. Up by Ellensburg and Cle Elum, we got some bad air quality. You can see where the onshore flow kind of clears out the smoke. And then also most of Western Washington has good air quality, except for close to the Bear Gulch fire, where we have consistently bad air quality. Looking at what the smoke is going to do over the next couple days, this is looking today at about 4 p.m. Smoke air quality still remains bad near the Labor Mountain fire and the lower Sugarloaf fire. Also some bad air quality by Yakima, the Tri-Cities, Walla Walla. But then as we go off through the night into tomorrow morning, you can see that this model wants to push some of the Labor Mountain fire and the lower Sugarloaf fire smoke kind of into the Cascades and along some of the foothill communities of the West Cascades. So places like Darrington and Oso and whatnot could possibly get some bad air quality going into tomorrow. And then by midday tomorrow, it decreases air quality for places like Everett, Lake Stevens, Arlington, Monroe, and Bellevue, and Duval. And then it eventually does look like it wants to just barely spread, possibly towards Seattle. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So, yeah, we're not done with the wildfire smoke yet. We didn't get quite enough rain with that last system, and unfortunately, it's not looking like we're going to get any rain anytime soon. So, looking at the upper air heights, we can see there's some ridging that builds over the area that's going to give us these dry, sunny days the next couple days. And then there is, the jet stream kind of gets close by Thursday, Friday, but right now it's appearing that the system is going to move off to our north and leave us high and dry. And I can show you that here. I'm going to zoom in a little closer to our region. Click through this. So dry, 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 dry. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is where we have a system that's going to be just to our north. Whether or not this is going to be able to sink far enough south to give us a little bit of rain is in question. We can look at the EPS, which is the ensemble data for the European model I was just looking at here. And we'll switch it to 24-hour mean precipitation to see what all the different members are saying. And we see there are a couple ensemble members that give a little bit of rain just to the far northwest Washington coast and the North Cascades, but not much. So yeah, another dry week ahead for us guys, and maybe by next weekend we could be talking about a little bit more rain, but as of now it's not looking like a high certainty thing. So hopefully going into the following week we can get some rain, but that's too far off to really talk about. So yeah, guys, lots of this today, lots of sunshine. It's looking beautiful out there right now, at least in my neighborhood. Good day for yard work if you happen to have the day off like this guy. And yeah, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel up and going so that by the time I am out chasing, it'll be good to go. And plan on doing most of my live streaming here on this YouTube channel. So yeah, thanks so much, guys, for watching today, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. See you later.